You cannot make it as a wandering generality. You must become a meaningful specific. And that is the quote of the day. Welcome back to the Quote of the Day show. I'm your host, Sean Croxton of SeanCroxton.com. It is episode number 49, and our featured speaker today is Mr. Zig Ziglar. And Zig is talking about one of my favorite topics of all time, which is the setting of goals. New Year's Day is literally days away, and it's time for us to get clear on what our goals are and how we can stick to them. And so Zig is about to talk about what goals have to do with the lack of time that we feel we have, with the lack of direction that we feel we have. And he also talks about how goals are going to help you to find your energy. And so here's Zig.
The third reason that 97% of the people don't have goals is basically they have never really been sold. Now, that's my prime function in this particular segment, is to sell you on having your goals, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. By the time this recording is over, you will in fact be sold on the absolute necessity of having goals. I am so confident that you're going to be sold that I'm going to tell you that before you go to bed tonight, you will have started taking the important steps to setting your own goals. I'll even go further than that. If you don't write some of your goals down this very evening, you might as well not go to bed as far as sleep is concerned, because you are not going to be able to go to sleep. Let me say that again. If you don't write them down, you're not even going to be able to go to sleep. You absolutely must have goals. Now, I want to stress, goals work for individuals, they work for families, they work for companies, and they work for nations as well. The basic problem that we face is this. Most people, when they're busy working on the job, they get to thinking, you know, I really ought to be spending more time with my family. And then when they're spending time with their family, get to think, you know, I really ought to be out there working for my family. And when they're out there working with their family or for their family, the mind is back home. And when they're back home, their mind is back out there in the field. Then they tell everybody, well, I don't ever have time for anything. No wonder you're always traveling. You see, the truth is, most people, when they're at work, their mind is at play. When they're at play, their mind is at work. So they're neither working nor playing wherever they are, that is wasting time, any way you look at it. Now, one of the beautiful things about having goals and directions is the fact that you will be able to work when you work and play when you play. I will not suggest that you work harder. As a matter of fact, by the time we get through, you will probably end up working less. But when you're on the job, you will be on the job. You will be working infinitely more effectively when you work in this manner. And you will have that balance of life. We say it so many times in so many different ways. There's a difference between standard of living and quality of life. And we're going to be looking at quality of life because that's the significant thing. Now, please understand, everybody has goals. One of your goals, for example, if you're in your car listening to this recording, one of your goals was to listen to this recording. Everybody has goals. But we want to get a little more involved in that. We really want to get involved so that we know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, and we can get much better results. 1973, they did another study on those seniors who had graduated from Yale. And in the two areas which they could measure, that is their financial accomplishments and their career accomplishments, the 3% who had taken all of the 7 steps had accomplished more than the 97% who had not. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is absolutely overwhelming. You must have those goals. You cannot make it as a wandering generality. You must become a meaningful specific. A lot of people go to work tomorrow because that's what they did yesterday. And if that's the reason you're going to go tomorrow, you won't be as good as you were yesterday, because now you're 2 days older and you're no closer to the goal, which you do not have. A lot of people complain about lack of time. It is not lack of time in 99% of the cases. It is lack of direction. Direction literally creates time, and motivation creates energy. Let me see the hands of those in here who have ever had one of those days. Can I see your hand? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? All right. You get up early in the morning. You've got that critically important appointment at 8:30, and so you get up 2 hours early. You want to make absolutely certain you get there on time. And you walk out the front door, you're all spiffed up and spanked up. I mean, you're really raring and ready to go. You got a full hour to get there. But as you walk out, you notice that you've got a flat tire. That's the best thing that happens to you all day long. I mean, that is just the beginning point of it right there. You hustle and bustle and sweat, and you get the tire changed, then you got to change your clothes, you clean up, and you rush down to the appointment. You get there on exactly the specified time, and you see a little note on the door. Sorry, I was called out of town. Have thought the matter over. Have decided I'm not interested. Don't you call me. I will call you. You go down to the office and you're greeted with a ringing telephone as you walk in. It is your administrative assistant, and she cannot make it for that day. You notice that it appears to be unusually hot, and that's because the air conditioner has cut off. A couple of hours later, the plumbing breaks down, and one thing after another all day long until finally, mercifully, the day ends. And you're not whipped, you are whooped. I mean, you have had it. You wearily get your coat, you struggle out to the car, and you drive home with scarcely enough energy to walk in the front door. Your wife, of course, lovingly greets you there at the front door, and she said, honey, I'm so glad that you didn't have to work late, because today is the day. Today is the day for what? Oh, honey, don't tell me you've forgotten it. You know, we planned on this for the last 3 weeks. We planned on what? Today is the day, honey. Don't you remember today is the day we cleaned the garage? Oh, honey, not today. I couldn't put one foot in front of another, and I just don't have any. Oh, honey, it's not going to take that long. I'm going to help you. It won't take more than 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, absolute maximum. Oh, honey, I just can't, not today. I just ain't up to it. I don't have any energy, and the telephone rings. Voice at the other end says, hey, partner, I've got us a tea time over at the country club in 17 minutes. We've got time to get in 9 if you feel like playing. If I feel like playing, man, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And everybody here agrees with exactly what I'm saying, don't you? The answer's yes, isn't it? Okay. I want to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. We've got plenty of energy to do the things we really want to do. But as I often say, life is not easy, life is tough. But when you're tough on yourself, life is going to be infinitely easier on you. And I'm going to tell you that when you do the things you ought to do, when you ought to do them, the day will come when you can do the things you want to do, when you want to do them. A lot of people say, well, I just don't feel motivated to do something. Well, you got it backwards. You do the something, and then you will feel motivated to do it. Motivation literally follows the action. Motivation creates energy.
All right, that was Zig Ziglar. That comes from his audio program called Goals, How to Set Them, How to Reach Them, available at nightingale.com, audible.com, as well as your Nightingale Conan Insiders app. That's it for me. If you have an extra 45 seconds, please rate and review the show on iTunes. I really appreciate it. Also, you can subscribe so you get the show on your phone or on your computer Monday through Friday. It's right there when you wake up and you're ready to go. I will see you tomorrow with Ken Blanchard. Peace.